This is Danny with QuadLugs, and we're going to get started with the electronics on the Mini XL Tri-Copter. So let's get this top cover off. Okay. You can see maybe that the tips of these screws that hold on the battery mount, like I was saying when we were doing the frame build, they stick through a little bit. Won't hurt anything. You can sand those down, but it doesn't hurt anything because we're gonna put Velcro down here, and after that's put on, that's it's not going to hurt anything at all. So what I did, we're going to use a Q-brain as I always do. But I tell you what, I really got spoiled with these. There's no power distribution problems. I mean, you solder your connector on whatever you're going to use, and you're ready to go. I am flying a lot of these right now, and I've never had a failure, although I guess maybe that I've said that I'll start having them. But I haven't had any problems with them. We have, I've said this maybe a couple times, but we're in North Texas, and we have some pretty hot temperatures here in summertime. And they get hot, but I haven't had a problem as of yet. Anyway, I went ahead and cut the wires. I normally leave them longer because I move them from, multi-rotor to multi-rotor when I'm building them. But on these, I went ahead and cut them. And of course, we have an extra one, and I just went ahead and put some shrink tube on it. And on our control wires, I'm going to be using the full-size KK board. And I need another hot wire or another power lead, and I'll show you that in a minute when we're doing that, and or when we're hooking it up. And so I went ahead and done that, and I tapped off the ground and the power and put me another connector on, and we're going to use this to go to the terminal on the board to power it up for the servo. But anyway, pretty simple when you put it in, and we're going to put it like this. The body is made to where when you put it on the Velcro, it fits in there well. The number 4 is actually going to be used as number 1 motor. Number 3, and these are the ESCs inside here. Number 3 ESC is going to be used for number 2 motor. Number 1 ESC is going to be used for the back motor on the swivel mount. And then of course the number 2 ESC is going to be just blank, not used rather. So we're going to go ahead and get some Velcro down in here, and let's get this thing started. Okay, I cut a couple of pieces, and let's go ahead and get them put on. Now what I'm going to do on this, I'm going to run this all the way to the front, because I think we had talked about this prior, or when I was building the frame, that I leave this open to maybe run another camera in here, and you can. I mean, you can run I run the Mobius normally on top, but you can put it here, or have a separate camera here for FPV if you choose. So I normally do that, then it's covered. then we're going to go ahead and put our cube brain in. And I can't tell you how much I like these things. It's just so simple. I mean, you know, the time you'd have to be putting separate ones on, running the wire, cutting the wire, putting the power distribution in, soldering it all up. I mean, good gosh, it's done. And we leave this part here open because I'm running my wires through there down to where the battery is going to be. So we're going to go ahead and bring those here and here and here, and this is going to go here. So let's go ahead and see. Number 1 motor is going to be number 4 on the ESC. So number 4 is actually brown. So what we're going to do is take our control wire off. Now I had this on another quad, and that's the reason these wires are a little bit different, or the reason they're already hooked up like this. So here's our power, and then we have the power that we added. I soldered it on here and added this on, and to power up the other side of the board. So we need, number 1 is going to be 4 ESC. Number 4 ESC is the brown, so we're going to use the brown. The brown is going to be number 1. And on the KK board, you need to power up on number 1. So let's do this, and we're going to put our brown wire here. Good. And I'm going to go ahead and write this down, and I normally do this. So brown is 1, and you know, maybe I should not write that on there. So I'm going to write this down, and let me get a piece of paper here. Oop. Brown is 1, and number 2 motor is going to 3 ESC. Number 3 is white, so white to 2. And number 1 ESC is going to number 3 motor, and that's going to be red. Red to number 3. So number 1 wire is going to brown, or number 4, which is brown. Number 2 is going to 3, which is white. Number 3 is going to number 1 ESC, which is red. We're good. So let me go ahead, and we need to put this onto red. Okay. And then number 4, number 2 ESC that we're not using in this application is orange, and we have orange done up there. Okay. Now what I normally do on this, I mean, you don't have to do this, but I do it to make it a little bit neater. I mean, you can bring these wires up like that, and you know, there's no problem doing that at all. Actually, it doesn't look too bad at all. So, you know, we'll just leave it like that. You can drill a hole in here, and I normally do that and bring it up in the end, you know, but this is fun. So let's go ahead and get our motors on. This is pretty typical. I mean, pretty standard. No big deal on that. So I'm gonna get one started, show you how I do it, and then, you know, I'll get them all put on so you don't, and come back so you don't have to watch me doing all that. So I normally, now you can get a tool to tighten these up, but I've done tons of builds like this, and this is how I do them, and it works well. You just bring them, you know, tight, and then you just grab it like this and pull, and that's it, and it's on there. So that's just the way I do it. If you have the tool, wow, that's really good. Now we'll go ahead and put the others, the rest of these on, and well, I say I am, and then I'm going to get the other motors on, and I'll be back. Okay, these motors are on, and you know, pretty simple. We have, and I had mentioned before that we have a video out on how to put this together, and I'll have it at the bottom of this video so you can refer to it. And on the site, on the product page, I have the servo that I normally use. It's not a real cheap one. I mean, you know, it's $20 some odd, but I'll tell you what, these, I have never had a problem with them again, and they work really good, and you can use it on the smaller version, this Mini XL, and it also works well with the large one. It's very, very, very good. And you mount it, you know, you center it. We furnish the stoppers, we furnish the rod, you'll furnish the, you know, servo and the motor, of course. You go ahead and put it, you center this, you go ahead and put your rods in and put them in, tighten it down, good to go, put your motor on. Very, very simple. So we're going to go ahead and slide this on, and we'll go ahead and get a screw put in here. Okay, and this is going to take grab a few. This is going to take the 5/8 screw. Good to go. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just temporarily connect these wires. Or, not temporarily, I'm going to connect them. We'll check rotation, and we may have to move one. We'll see that in a minute. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. Now, like I said, I had this in another quad, and there we go. And these wires are going to be a little bit short, so I have some extensions I'm going to go ahead and put on to take care of that. And let me get those on. Okay, I have the extensions, and what I normally do, if I cut wire off of the keybrain, I save that wire, and I already have one of the connections done. So, and I save that so just for this reason. So yeah, it works out pretty good. So let's go ahead and get these tied in. And I'm going to go ahead and put an extension on the servo because I know I'm going to need it. And let's make sure we get these wires right. And we had control, power, ground. And we're going to go ahead and run that out like that. Now we're ready to go ahead and put the deck on. And again, I'm just going to put 2 screws. I'll finish those later. Let me see which one. I think it was this one. Yep. And we'll go ahead and put this down. I just want to make sure no wires got up underneath there. And it all looks good. You always want to make sure of that because sometimes they'll get up underneath the tab on there of the body support lug, and you don't want that. Okay, tighten these down. Good. Looks good. So, actually, that's going to work out really good like that. Okay, so let's get our Velcro cut for the top, and we'll put that on. Okay, we have this cut, and what we're going to do, we're going to cover the whole thing because again, it'll leave me, you know, I'll be able to put my controller, camera, whatever back here. So I just normally when I do it, just go ahead and cut the whole thing, or put it cover the whole way, same as we did underneath. It just goes ahead. I mean, it just sets you up for future use, so you never have to worry about putting that down again. And I kind of, you know, on everything that I have, I standardize, you know, like I put the loop down on the multi-rotor, and I use the hook on everything else that goes onto it. And, you know, everyone has a different way of doing it. That's just how I do it. And as I always say, it's all good, no matter which way you do it. So there we go. Now, one thing I did mention, if you were going to paint or color the wood, you know, obviously before we started putting on the electronics, that should have been done already. I'm not going to do that on this one just yet anyway. And again, like I was saying the other day, if I go with black as far as the color, that's what I use. And it works really good. I'm not a very good painter. So I admire everybody who is. I'm not. So I normally color it with that. So now let's do this. And we'll go ahead and put our controller on. Now we have videos out on mounting the KK board in the what we call the KK board holder and receiver pad lug. And I'm using a lemon receiver here, If you need any help with that, I have some videos on that also. But if you need any special help, just let me know. Put a comment down at the bottom or shoot me an email, and I'll do everything I can to help you out. And I go ahead and hot glue the annunciator. But what this does is that I can move this to multi-rotor, depending, you know, if it's tris or quads, you just have to go back in and reset it. But like on this one, I'll move from try to try to try. And I really fly all of these. All the videos you see of me flying these, it's all on factory default. And I do it for a couple of reasons, just to see how, or factory default PIDs. I do that just to see how consistent they all fly. And it enables me also to just move this from machine to machine, and it's real quick and real simple. Just unhook the motor wires, hook them back on, boom, you're ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and put this on, and this is the way I configure it. Take a look at a video, and again, I'll put a link at the bottom. I mean, you can mount it obviously any way you want. You just, when you put this board in, you just turn it, you know, you can put it this way, whatever. I normally put them like this. It keeps, you know, everything out of the way, where camera and if I want to put a transmitter back here, you know, I have the room to do it. So you can go ahead and stick that on there, and I already had some Velcro on the bottom. The holder is also made of the reinforced nylon that the motor arms are made of. All the black items on here are made of the same. Super, super strong. I mean, you can beat the heck out of this thing and it's gonna be there. We're right now 3D printing the smaller ones for the mini KK, which I'm using on another quad and another the mini quads, the 250, and that we have, and also on a Tri-Copter and a full-size Tri-Copter. And I really like what they're doing really well. Smaller footprint, and like I said, we're 3D printing the case or the holders for that. And it also, like this one, it has the receiver pad made onto it. We're working on the tooling, so you know, it'll be a month or two and we'll have those out also. So that's it on that. Now the wiring, we were talking about, red is number 1, and let's find it. Or I'm sorry, brown was number 1, and it had the power with it. So we're going to go ahead and put brown as number 1. And looking at our little cheat sheet here, white is number 2 motor. And red is number 3. And of course your servo is going to be number 4. And then the power jumper I'm going to put on number 6. And we ought to be good, and this is the one that we've abandoned. Let me grab a couple of the tie bands, and we're going to secure this, make it look a little bit neater. And like I said, you can drill a hole through this top and come out closer to there, and I do that quite a bit. On this one though, we didn't. So kind of cinch that down, make that look pretty. There we go. So we're all hooked up here. Now we need to check rotation, and we'll do that in a minute. After we do that, then we'll re-secure these wires. But for right now, we'll see how they look. And what I'm doing is just making this a little bit neater, and I'm taking our control wire for our servo, and I'm putting underneath Now I'm going to go ahead and get these secured. Making a nice neat job, and this will work good. Now I started using, instead of tie bands, and I've mentioned this a few times, this Velcro, and it comes in a roll. I get it from Uline, and you can get it online in a place called Uline, U-L-I-N-E. And it comes in longer pieces on it, and it's on a bigger roll, and you just pull it off. And it's a Velcro wire tie. I don't think it's meant for this application, but I use it for this, and I tell you what, I like it a lot better than a regular wire tie. You know, it holds good. I use them over and over and over. I, go around it, and I cut them, and you can take it loose and reuse it tons of times. Now I'm not going to put one on here, but just to show you, because I'll use it on another, you just wrap it around, and just that easy. And then I cut it, and there you go. And you can take it off and reuse it again. It's pretty neat how it's good. I like it a lot. So there you are. The good old Mobius can go right here, or any camera you want to put there, really. Your transmitter, if you're going to do FPV, can go here. You have a place here for another camera if you want to run a separate FPV camera, or if you want to run the Mobius here, put your FPV up there. Plenty of ventilation here for the ESC. Works out good. Now, you may notice the last one I had some gray tie bands on this, or Velcro straps on this. I've taken these off, and I'm using them on something else. I'll go ahead and put some on here because I'm going to fly this thing hopefully this afternoon yet. So, only thing we need to do now is check, well, put these two screws in and check rotation, and prop it out. I'm running, on this particular one, on the product page we have the motors, size motors and everything that I'm using. But on this particular one, it's 221210. I forget what's on the product page, but the videos you've seen past me flying, that's the motors I used. Now this I pulled off of another one, and they're 221210, and I don't remember, but that's what I'm running on this one. And I have 8.3/8 props. And I normally run 8.4 props on this. But this is what I had on this one. So that's what we're gonna do our flight video on. And like I said, as soon as I get that done, I'll get it ready and post it so you guys can see it. Let me go ahead and, yep, that's lined up. So I'm gonna get these two screws in. It's ready to go, and we'll see you on the next one.